President Obama is dishing it out against Republican candidates, but one of them says it's the president who can't take it. That candidate, Dr. Ben Carson, is leveraging statements like that one into solid poll numbers, solid enough to give him the lead in some surveys. Chief Political Correspondent Carl Cameron has our story.
In the wake of their third debate, Ben Carson has strengthened his lead over Donald Trump, who released his new book, Crippled America, and a torrent of criticism at his rivals. Carson leads Trump by 6 points in the NBC Wall Street Journal poll nationwide. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz are virtually tied for third, and Jeb Bush remains in single digits. Carson's favorable versus unfavorable with voters, a key indicator of long-term viability in polls, is sky high. He's viewed more than twice as favorably as Rubio. Jeb Bush is viewed more negatively than positively. The president last night mocked the GOP field for complaining about the debates.
It turns out they can't handle a bunch of CNBC moderators. Then I don't think the Chinese and the Russians are going to be too worried about you.
Today, the frontrunner responded.
That wouldn't happen to be the same President Obama who was afraid to go on Fox with it.
Trump began the day with a Fox and Friends attack on Carson.
I like Ben, but Ben can't do the job. I mean, there's no question about it. He can't do the job. He's not going to be able to negotiate with China. It's not his thing. He doesn't do that because it's not his thing. It's not in his wheelhouse. He's never done it before, and I don't think it's, meant for him.
At a news conference promoting his book, he continued.
When a man is weak on immigration and wants to get rid of Medicare, I don't know how he stays there.
Then he turned to Rubio, who's viewed second most favorably by GOP voters.
He has a very bad record of finances. If you look at what happened with his houses, with his, he certainly lives above his means. There's no question about that. All you have to do is look at his credit card. I mean, he is a disaster with his credit cards.
Rubio explained his financial issues in his campaign book in January and attributed Trump's tirades to no longer leading polls. When asked about his upcoming Saturday Night Live appearance, Trump slammed Bush.
My Jeb impression? No, I don't want to do that. I don't like showing a person sleeping at a podium.
As Bush launched his Jeb Can Fix It reboot tour to write his campaign yesterday, his communications director sought to downplay any expectations of an immediate surge in momentum, tweeting, quote, FYI, political press corps, Jeb's going to have a few weeks of bad polls. Comebacks take time, we recognize and are prepared for that. In South Carolina today, Bush cast himself as a public servant workhorse, not a show horse seeking fame for its own sake.
There are two kinds of politicians, though, like me, who actually think that service is what this is about, and then the big personalities on the stage that are doing it because they want their ego to be satisfied.
Trump heads to New Hampshire tomorrow, where he'll turn over a $1,000 check to the Secretary of State and become the first Republican to file for the first-in-the-nation New Hampshire presidential primary ballot in 14 weeks.